for those.
Yes. And Julie, thank you for that. Thank you for offering that allowance and permission to everyone. We do want to create a safe space, community, and just this quality that you make this time your own, you're showing up, but know that you got some options if you want them. And I think Laurel is still signing on, so I'm going to start our mindful minute. And this is a great way just to use this as a transition. Whatever was happening before, just come right in. Welcome yourself here. Take a moment to just feel rooted in the best way that you can right now. Your feet to the ground if possible. The support of your seat, on your seat. Hands could rest to your legs. And then invite it's a quality of like filtering into this moment. And we'll be quiet for a moment, about a minute. Welcome, everyone. Lingering here just a little longer, rooted, harvesting your presence here. Nothing to change, just being present for what is. A few more breaths. And now starting to transition back to sensing, feeling, being part of this community. If you'd like, create a transitioning breath where you inhale a little fuller through the nose and out through the mouth. Just sigh, let it be. If you decided to close your eyes, just blink your eyes open a bit. Hello, everyone. And you are welcome to leave it on a gallery view if you want to see all the boxes. Some of them are dark, some are faces, or just switch it to the speaker view. As many of you know, we've been doing Zooms for a long time. So switch it to speaker if you want. And Julie is going to kick us off with our conversation today.
Thank you, Heidi. I'm actually gonna put some slides on to begin with, which is a great time to eat your lunch if you're taking this as a lunch break. And also welcome to those of you who watch asynchronously. We are thinking about you too. So, whereas last week we talked about what mindfulness is not, it's not about blocking thoughts or having a thought-free, emotion-free state. It's not numbing yourself, etc. This year we're going to this week we're going to talk more about what mindfulness is. Mindfulness has sort of exploded in terms of research and popularity. When I entered the field studying mindfulness, it was the early 2000s. So you can see it was around 2002 that I went to my first mindfulness meeting and started working with my postdoc mentor, Richie Davidson. And I got to go to a conference that had the Dalai Lama in it, which was kind of exciting. And the whole aim during those early days was to take some of these practices that were secular. They're just supposed to set you up to do the more, faith-based practices to kind of settle your mind before doing that. And I thought, well, maybe other people could benefit. And they wanted rigorous science with control groups, randomized control, all of that. And so the first study that was happening in Richie Davidson's lab when I entered was a flu shot study. It was kind of exciting. They had people in EEG caps. They're measuring their brain waves. And then they also gave them a flu shot after either doing mindfulness or being in a waitlist control, which means they're interested in learning mindfulness, but they were holding back teaching until later. And what they found is that there was an antibody titer rise to the flu shot only in the meditation groups. So people who were doing that mindfulness practice, and this one was taught by John Kabat-Zinn himself, like in those early days. Like it wasn't real popular. It was really at the early days. And they had a more robust immune system. So this was kind of a marker that indicates less stress because cortisol, a stress hormone, dampens down the immune system, makes you more vulnerable to getting sick. And there was a correlation with the antibody titers to this asynchrony in the brain that correlates with happiness. So they seemed more happy and had a better immune response. In the 10 years, about 10 years after that study, they looked at all the meditation studies and found the about 50 best studies that had large samples, randomized controls, and found that for anxiety, depression, and pain, the effect size was comparable with other studied therapies. Like, for example, Prozac has an effect size about 0.32, 0.33, and mindfulness had something like 0.31. It's not to say, hey, use it as a replacement, but it's a great adjunct to therapy. It was then thought, well, okay, mindfulness, how is it working? Well, it seems to work on both the body and on the brain. So we'll talk about how the stress system works first, just to give you a little idea of what it's doing. So our stress system is not an enemy. It has helped us as people keep away from danger. For example, if a tiger is chasing you, you want to run. And if you want to fight or flee or any of those things, it takes energy in the body. And so cortisol will raise your blood pressure and increase the blood sugar so that your muscles are ready for something dangerous. The problem is when cortisol is elevated all the time, as it happens a lot for people in modern society, it also shuts down digestion. It's basically taking energy away from things that if you're running from a tiger, you're not thinking about digesting your meal. You're not, trying to keep your immune system up. You want all hands on deck so that your muscles can be fully ready to run, but that's not good long term. So we're talking more about long-term stress. And in general, a little bit of stress, a little bit of challenge is good. You want to have that resilience of challenging yourself. Otherwise, you end up bored in your comfort zone. You end up unstimulated. And studies have shown that unstimulated mice, they make new neurons every day, as we all do. We make new neurons every day. But if we're not stimulated and challenged, those new neurons die. But we want to be in that stretch zone where we're constantly learning, constantly stimulated, but we don't necessarily want to stay in a panic zone, right? Where we're too frazzled, too fried to really feel comfortable. If we just continue to block things, and I'm just going to try not to think about it, and then those things remain unprocessed and that stress residue builds up, and maybe that dam kind of burst at some point, like a volcano almost, right? And then maybe like you hear the expression straw that breaks the camel's back. Well, maybe you spill your coffee and all of a sudden you end up angry or crying or very upset beyond what the situation calls for. Herbert Benson at Harvard University coined the term relaxation response, which is something, a range of practices that can bring our stress levels down. They reduce cortisol, they make us feel more relaxed and at ease, they change the brain from a stress mode to a more relaxed mode. And mindfulness and yoga practices are one of them, but things like biofeedback and breathing and prayer are also included in this. So we're going to pretend we're in a study today. So pretend you're getting your blood drawn, and at the end of class, get your, blood checked again and see what kind of things our brain is producing. So what they did in this study is 10 minutes of yoga and 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation. And they found, and then they did another blood draw, and what they found is, well, what kind of hormones are you making? Did you ramp down hormones? Did you increase other hormones? What they found is that what the body and brain started to produce were chemicals related to sustained energy, anti-aging, decreased cortisol and other stress hormones, increase in free radical absorbers, like antioxidants. They help us with anti-aging, and increased insulin. So our body is more in a relaxed mode, ready to repair itself and return to health. And note, that's only 20 minutes. That's what we're going to be doing today in class. So if you do the exercises along with us, either now or later, you can expect that these were novices that showed these responses, and even more so in practiced individuals. Well, is mindfulness exactly the same as relaxation? Well, studies show that it may be more. So this was a study done up in Pittsburgh. They went to an unemployment office and they found people who were really stressed and looking for jobs, like how am I going to pay my bills kind of stress. And they said, hey, we will pay you to do a 3-day retreat. And they randomized the order. Some people got a mindfulness retreat and some people got a relaxation retreat with like body relaxation, massages, all that. It felt really great. They felt relaxed, but there was a big difference. One was in a structure called the amygdala. The amygdala is responsible for fight-flight behavior, for being aroused in fear and anger and even things like empathy. So it's not all bad, but when it stays on, it tells the system, make more cortisol, make more cortisol, make more cortisol. What they found is the amygdala started being less active, less connected to parts of the brain only in the mindfulness condition. The relaxation didn't do it. And it also correlated with the cortisol that they measured. They pulled a little bit of hair and how much cortisol is being produced in the month after the retreat. Turns out the more it went down, the more amygdala went down. So mindfulness can help reduce that stress residue buildup by allowing those thoughts to come up, by allowing those emotions to come up, and then going back to the breath. We are practicing not responding to them as strongly. Sure, we might explode at times or something, but then we can bounce back. We might, have a longer fuse. So mindfulness is not about ever falling down. It's about that cushion. It's about, taking steps, mindful steps, uh, in which we, can have a little bit of humor, a little bit of resilience, and bounce back up. It kind of reduces that reactivity of the brain, reduces cortisol, and cortisol has been shown to shrink the hippocampus, which is a memory area. It can impair the function of prefrontal cortex, which is about controlling your thoughts and emotions. So mindfulness over time can reverse those. These changes in the brain are reversible and can be reversed with mindfulness, which is probably where you're seeing the benefits in anxiety and depression. So there are lots of little mindful snacks. Heidi talked last week about mindful snacks. It might be, just being with a breath. It might be being, in the mountain pose or doing some of the 6 movements of the spine that we learned last week. It might be a little laughter or connection, looking outside the window or at a webcam. We had a participant one year who said that he would look at his webcam of a beach in Carolina. It might be a prayer, a spiritual connection. And then with a longer session, when we allow those thoughts and emotions to kind of arise and fall on their own, that helps us accommodate and be more friendly with our own mind and remove some of that residue and kind of get into our stretch zone. So I'd like to invite you now, if you have, either your phone or a piece of paper, to jot down a few things. Mindfulness habit changes take a little bit of planning, and planning takes a bit of attention and effort. So if you want right now to take a minute and jot down something, anything that you might have related to, either from our classes or like maybe it's going fishing if you need something longer. Maybe it's going on a hike. Maybe, it's listening to your favorite music. Anything that you can do if you feel really overwhelmed in a day to have that 20 minutes to bring down your nervous system and relax. And then maybe some snacks that you might have related to. Something really short that, hey, ooh, I'm still at work. There's no way I can take a long break, but I can maybe feel my feet on the ground. Or I can maybe find a color to, find something blue. Okay. Okay. There's a WB logo or something, right? So take a moment. And if anyone wants to share something, you can.
I'll
Anybody have?
share. I'll share, Julie. I'll get off because it's been on my mind. It's a it's a beautiful day in our lovely town of Morgantown, West Virginia right now. And my little snack I want to make sure I have today is to get outside. I love autumn weather. We're getting some coolness. We have the sunshine, and I'm going to have the snack of an outdoor walk today because that resets for the work I need to do later.
Nice. Anyone else want to share, even in the chat? It's okay if not. We're going to have another opportunity to revisit that list at the end of class. So if we can move on in our class, I finished my science. Oh, we've got someone.
Yes.
The outside walk is great. Definitely, I might even do that after class.
Oh, yes. And one person said, I did some meditation this morning. And I taught an early morning class today, an early morning yoga class, and something that came up at the end of class when it was 8:30. It's like, oh, that if morning is your thing, right? Later in the day, it's like, oh, I already did my thing. Or when you make a plan, you're like, oh, I already made my plan today. After this, I'm going for my walk outside. So we kind of find what works for us. And we're like, oh, there's a reward to setting it and having the time to do it, whether it's a long time or a short time. I love, Julie, you're sharing that like 20 minutes, right? It's not 90 minutes or 2 hours. It's like, oh, 20 minutes. And sometimes it can be less than that. But yeah, build up.
And I love going outside and petting my kitties in the sun. I think I might do that too.
Yes, yes.
Halloween decor walk. My daughter and I did that last night. She was oohing and ahhing at the neighborhood Halloween decor.
I love that.
Yoga
Oh,
in the sun. Oh my gosh, it sounds amazing. The moon was amazing. It's just been beautiful.
yes, yes. Oh, thank you, Julie and Heidi. I had a difficult time getting on today. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Yes.
Great, great.
Yes.
Yes, I've got to check out my Zoom and Teams because, yeah, and yeah. Anyway, I'm here.
Yay, you're here.
Yes, and I'd like to move on and share. I think it's time to do a meditation on sounds. Okay. So today's meditation is going to be focusing on sounds. So using our senses. So we're going to be using our hearing sense and trying to imagine like we're hearing for the very first time and without judgment or making stories about the sound, good sound, bad sound, just observing it. So we're going to observe the sound. We're going to observe the pattern. Is it loud or soft, high pitched or low pitched? And then we'll observe the texture of the sounds and just allowing the sounds to come to you and listening with your whole body, with all your senses, open and receptive to the experience of sound. And as best you can, just experiencing them. And if you have a thought like, this is weird, or I don't want to do this right now, just simply notice that as well and gently bring your attention back to the experience of hearing. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, that's fine. If not, a fuzzy gaze down or looking at something pleasant. So let's take a deep cleansing breath, first of all, just to help relax the body. So let's take a deep breath in, filling up the belly and lungs, holding a second, and letting it go with a long sigh, or just letting it go. Doesn't have to be a sigh. And let's do one more. Take a nice deep breath in, filling up the belly, lungs, holding it a second, and letting it go, letting it go. Very good. And now feeling your breath in your body, moving easily and effortlessly like the gentle waves on the ocean. Easy in, easy out. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just being there in the present moment. Just being there in the present moment. Um, Thank you. I had a sound go off. It's perfect timing for hearing that I wanted to stop. Anyway, coming back to your breath in your body. On your next exhalation, just allowing your shoulders and jaw to drop a little bit more. Letting go with every exhalation. Now bringing your awareness to your feet, wiggling your toes a bit, and then imagining your feet are grounded to the earth as best you can. And now gently bringing your awareness to the furthest most sound that you can hear. The furthest most sound. And observing again the pitch of that sound, the pattern, just with curiosity, like you're hearing it for the first time. If you notice a thought coming of judgment, just gently and kindly bring your awareness back to that sound, allowing yourself just to be with your whole body. Now gently guiding your awareness to the closest sound you can hear. And there might be a few, so take your time. Notice whatever comes to you first. The curiosity of a 5-year-old. Like, oh, that's a new sound. Is it soft or high pitched or low? Just allowing the sound to come to you. Just simply experiencing it without any judgment, without any labels or categorizing. Maybe notice how quiet it may be. It could be like hard to find a sound. Hmm. Now bringing your awareness back to your breath in your body. And maybe feeling a sense of gratitude, thankfulness for being able to hear, having that as one of your precious senses. Thank you, my hearing. Thank you. And now guiding your awareness back to your room, your feet grounded to the floor, and opening your eyes if they're closed, and just noticing how you're feeling without any judgment of good or bad feelings. It's just a feeling. And thank you for letting me guide you in this meditation of sounds. And we'll move on now to Heidi with yoga and breath work. Heidi, you're on mute.
Yes.
You're off.
I
Good.
noticed that. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Laurel.
sure.
Yes. All right, friends. I have another PowerPoint today. We are going to transition from Laurel's beautiful mindful meditation on sounds. And I really did appreciate, Laurel, that you had your own human experience of sounds, because that happens, right? We plan a practice, we make our plan, and then, oh, something comes up, a sound, something we didn't think about. Yet we navigate back into that. That's part of growth. Like, what do I do? Do I react or do I respond? Right? And that's a beautiful segue into what we'll explore today in our movement. So a balancing act, listening and responding. So mindful balancing, we'll add in with our 6 movements of the spine today, 2 balancing postures. Mindful balance, right? Balance is dynamic. It's not still. I like to share we're not statues, right? We don't get into a pose and stick it. It's a dance, it's a play, it's evolving and adjusting and sensing. And every wobble offers feedback, and it's not failure. We're not bad at balancing if we wobble and fall out. I consider that our growth. It's where we find our strength and learn where our body needs to shift and grow to maintain stability. So balance improves interoception, and interoception is that inner listening. It's like what we just did with Laurel. It's, listening to sounds, but then also listening to the inner environment. It's noticing the rhythm of your breath. It's noticing your muscle tone. It's noticing maybe the pulse, your heartbeat, and the energy that is you. And interoceptive awareness, it helps you respond, not react, because you have that compass, right? And you get a little pause before the next thing. So every shift is your body communicating. And what does it say? And are you listening? And how can you respond with curiosity instead of too much control? All right. So pulling back in, Julie sharing about our growth zone. So we have the comfort zone, we have growth. And it looks like my setting got messed up. Growth and the stress alarm. So we need all of it, right? And we find our growth from some of that pressure of stress, but also knowing and navigating where and we find our comfort and ease. And so the growth zone is, it's where we're learning, where we find our flow and our calm, and where all those things meet and merge. If something's too easy, it's easy to get disengaged. It's easy to get distracted because we're not, in it on purpose, that paying attention on purpose. If it's too hard, we might feel that overwhelm, that stress, that panic button going off. And interoceptive awareness as we balance will kind of keep that pulse, keep that sense, that listening to where you are so you can shift and shift with your breath. And mindful balance helps us navigate our growth zone skillfully. So if you are ready, we're going to move. So join me in a standing position. As always, if you'd rather stay seated, you can do that as well. And if you're watching later, again, standing, seated, whichever is best for you. Let me spotlight real quick. There we are, friends. All right, as I move back to my spot, take a moment to find your space here. Stand in your mountain pose, giving yourself a moment to maybe just, shake things out. If you've been sitting for a while, it might feel good to, like the little skeleton bones this time of year, that we're shake things out a bit before you land in a quality of stillness. So once you feel ready, mountain with some stillness, feet rooted down into the ground. Whether you're barefoot like me in some socks or you have some shoes on, right? Just connect. There's a support beneath you. And now any amount, welcome that. Welcome that up into your body. Support, right? Grow some energy like you're scaffolding yourself. And just enough, right? If we're too relaxed, we fall out of the moment. If we're too rigid, we're blocking the flow of energy. Just enough growth to find stability, just enough softness to find some ease, to breathe and stay present. And speaking of breathing, start to dial your attention there, paying attention on purpose to the pattern of your breath. An inhale that might feel a little expansive and full. An exhale that brings things back to center and helps you feel more settled. Connect to your pattern. And now with the pattern of your breath, your pace, add movement. On an inhale, arms will sweep out and up any amount. And as you exhale, bring the arms back down. As you inhale, breathe in through your nose, bring the arms high. And as you exhale, breathe out your mouth like a sigh, like A-H-H-H-H-H-H. Inhale again. We have 2 more of these. Exhale. And 1 more. Inhale. Return to your neutral mountain. Reset. Step your feet just a little bit wider, getting ready for our series of 6 movements of the spine. From your standing position in mountain, bend your knees. Let's bring the elbows onto the thighs. Now, feet could be maybe hip width or a little bit wider. Here is a kind of a start to your fold. You could stay here. If you want a little more flexion, if you want a little more stretch in your legs, start to lengthen the legs. Let your head drop any amount. And you could even release your arms. If you have a chair nearby, if you're standing, or a table nearby, you could even place your hands on a chair or a table. But releasing for your fold, you have 2 more breaths. And now sending attention down into your feet. Notice the energy of your legs toning, listening to that. Help yourself up, 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 up. Ooh, unravel that fold back to your mountain pose. Right? If feet were really wide, you could step them in a little closer. Side bend, right hand on your belly. Left arm, bring it up tall. Flow dynamically, ease over to your right. Bring it back up to tall mountain. Ease over to your right. And then back up. And so here we're playing in that growth range, right? It's like a little ease and leaning into a little more. And now find your pause zone where you can pause the shape. A little static quality to it, but static is alive. 2 more breaths. Trying to hold too much tension there. And now notice your feet. Root down, pick yourself back up. Left arm releases. Left hand to your belly. Right arm by your side. Stretch it up tall. 3 times dynamically. Lean to your left. And then come back up to your tall reach. 2 more. Lean left a little or a lot. Come back up. And listening to how this new shape feels. Come back up. This time, lean in, steady legs, flexible spine, a little or a lot to your left. 2 breaths. I notice here today in me, right side's appreciating this. My right's your left. And then coming back up and release all the way out. Greet your mountain pose once again. Check in how that feels side to side. All right. Forward fold, side bend. Let's greet a back bend. Back bend from standing position. Hands could start on your hips and start to glide your elbows back, feeling open across the chest. Upper back muscles saying, I gotcha. You could also place your hands in the back pocket, stand tall, lean back a little or a lot, steady down through your feet, and then keep your gaze looking up on an angle instead of like way back, dropping the neck. So that too is a little growth. We have some control, yet we give a little. Exhale back out of that pose. Return back to your mountain pose. Right. And now once again, feet are going to step a little bit wider. Come back to that skier squat or elbows onto your thighs. Settle into that shape. And then walk your hands up onto your thighs. Now with your right shoulder, turn to your left. Look to your left. And now turn back through center, getting in our last of the 6 movements, rotating right and left. Come back through center, 2 more times each side, rotate, turn the trunk, look to your left, back through center. Turn the trunk, look to your right, center, and 1 more. Rotate, turn, and center. And easy does it, rotate, turn to the right, and back through center. Hands are on your legs, root your feet, come on up to stand. Roll your shoulders back a bit as you re-greet your mountain pose. From the 6 movements, settle into mountain. Welcome hands on the hips, moving into our 2 balancing postures today. Kicking in this quality of interoception, press into your right foot, steady your right leg a little as you lift your left. Tree pose, we welcome the left leg out to the side, like turning a door open, just enough. You can plant your foot low to the ground, maybe somewhere in the middle, or feel free to pull it up onto the inner thigh. But listen to sensation all through the body. Moving in a way where you can sustain the pose, grow the pose with focus and concentration. Maybe these last 2 breaths, you want to do something different with your arms, create your tree. And then we're like, okay, that's enough growing for that tree. Woo, we let it go, we let it rest, and let it be. Shake out your legs. As part of that growth, as we go a little, we try not to panic, and then we bring ourselves out, comfort, steady, and then we go right back in, try another side. Left foot, ground into your left foot, left leg starts to tone for structure. Pick up your right foot any amount, turn the door open, and plant your right foot along the inside of your left leg. And again, that could be really low. Create a low root if the wobbles are really big today. That October breeze is really strong. So find your roots. Grow potential up through your spine. Try not to control the balance too much. And if you wish, play, get curious, create some tree arms, some branches and leaves. And start to let it go. Let it be. Release out through the right leg, walk it out. And a gratitude to that moment of growth and exploration, right? Gratitude for the experience you had. And then get curious even more and be like, okay, I can do tree. How about being like an airplane? We're going to practice Warrior 3, our last balancing pose. Warrior 3, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. With your left foot, step it in front, and right foot step back just a little bit. Hands could start on your hips. Now think of an airplane flying in the air. You're going to send the head, trunk of the body forward and lift your right leg up in space. You might wobble like me. Balancing into your left leg. Right leg has structure, and then you could find wings of your airplane, stretch them out wide. Take up space as you also explore the wobbles of balance. And then land it. Whoo, gratitude. Maybe there's some turbulence, right? We find our strength, navigate that. All right, last side. Good thing we're not octopus, right? If we were, we'd have eight legs we'd have to try. A little humor for you today. All right, we have 2 legs. So into your right foot, right leg. Hands on your hips. Start to lean your head, your heart, your trunk forward as you reach your left leg back in space. And now there's a bit of wobble, maybe some turbulence, or maybe you feel really stable today. Focus your gaze, find your airplane arms. Breathe. Gratitude, let it go. Comfort zone, release back to your mountain. Mountain pose, home base, arms by your side. Greet a breath, inhale. Exhale at the mouth, let that be. Maybe even say to yourself, listen how you feel. Whew, we did something. We moved out of our comfort zone. We explored ways to not panic so that we could grow, find strength and ease as we balance. That's life. All right. Thank you for that movement. I'm going to take a seat. You're welcome to take a seat if you're standing. And I'll end today with a breathing practice called Breath of Courage. And I will share my screen one more time. I really like to have just something you can gaze upon while we explore our breathing practice. Let me get that in there. There we go, friends. Okay. Whoop. So Ujjayi, breath of courage. This breathing practice uses a quality of sound to help us feel more present, to help us cultivate a quality of focus and concentration. This breath of courage, thinking of courage or a passion for staying present, has these qualities where we can respond versus react. Right? Through mindful breathing, we listen, not just through the breathing practice, but listen to the way the practice is benefiting you, or how you might want to, navigate, weave through, bob and weave to how the practice suits you this day. Inward focus, and then also helping you create this quality of centered and calm. So with Ujjayi breath, as you take your seat, hold up one hand like you have a mirror, like a pocket mirror in your hand, and just place it a few inches in front of your face. Ujjayi creates a very soft constriction, not too hard, but a soft constriction of the vocal cords. A great way to access this is to inhale through your nose and out through your mouth, fog your mirror. Or if you just ate a bunch of garlic and onions and you're like, how does my breath smell? Try that again. Inhale through your nose, real soft. Exhale, fog the mirror. You can hear it and you can feel back of the throat. Now put your compact mirror away. Inhale, just get a sense of it. Exhale without the mirror, breathe out the mouth. One more in through the nose. Out through the mouth. And now try in and out through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Little whisper back there. Exhale out the nose. Maintain the little vocal cord constriction. In through the nose, soft whispering sound. Exhale out the nose, almost like a very soft snore. Stay with it. See how this feels today. Creating a streamline effect for your breath. In through your nose, out through your nose. Kind of like the wind whispering through trees or an ocean sound. The courage for self-care. The courage to stay present. Cultivating inward focus to listen. To welcome the benefits of feeling more centered and calm. 3 more rounds. Last round. Now Ujjayi is, it's a little yoga pose for the throat, for the vocal cord. So let's let that go, let it release. With your next exhale, just sigh it out again. And it might feel nice just to let yourself swallow and release that practice. If your eyes were closed, feel free to blink them back open. Staying in the presence of seated here, present here, we will shift to Julie for another meditation. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Heidi. I know that I find, I don't know about you, one of the best mindful snacks is doing that Ujjayi breath. It gives me a little bit of something to focus on, a little easier than just mindfulness. So I really enjoy it. Thank you. And it's one of the things I'm grateful for today. So we're going to do a little gratitude. Our brains are always looking for something a bit off because we want to know how to respond to it. But we have to, on purpose, think of the things we're grateful for because that makes us feel that sense of warmth and goodness. So let's give that a try. If you are a spiritual or religious person, that may begin with something divine. It might be nature and the beauty of nature, that wonderful sunshine and fall leaves. I'm grateful to wear some of my favorite warm and fuzzy fall clothes. You might move on to think of maybe today you've had some warm interactions with others, maybe people in your life, family or friends, maybe people that are relative strangers who just extended a genuine kind word, patient, that you were able to help, sense of gratitude for being able to apply your talents, sense of purpose. Maybe there's a larger sense of the people that helped you in your life. Maybe your family who raised you, maybe that teacher or mentor that helped set you on a positive course or encouraged you when you were discouraged. Maybe it's the pets or children in your life. How will they bring joy, laughter? It's entertainment, your favorite music, shows. Lastly, just extending a gratitude to the people here who have made this class possible. Supportive community is so important. And so now I'm going to share uh, a slide about gratitude. There's been research done that shows that it is beneficial not just for your mind, but for your body. It can help um, engender the positive emotions that you can't block positive emotions as well as you can cultivate or block negative, but you can cultivate positive emotions, and that tends to expand and spread to more than just gratitude, to joy and contentment. So feeling that sense of gratitude can lower blood pressure and other markers of stress. I'm going to talk about our home practice, just so that we can for sure get that in, is doing some of those 6 movements of the spine, like we've been working with Heidi in these last couple weeks, as well as doing just a short meditation. It's much better to bite off a small chunk that we can do regularly than try to take everything on and then miss a day and feel like, oh, I quit, right? We want kind of slow and steady. And if you miss a day, no problem, or you miss a week, no problem. Just try it again. Try some of those mindful snacks and integrating with your life experience. So maybe journaling a bit about what practices are working for you, doing a little breath or sound awareness during the day. Maybe after you send that email, you take a moment to, oh, maybe I'll just listen to the sounds around me, or do that Ujjayi breath to center myself. If you have to switch to another task, that can be really, really helpful. So I wanted to revisit now that 20-minute relaxation plan and a mindful snack plan. If there's anything from the class today that you feel like some ideas came to you. Maybe it was something from today. Maybe like, oh yeah, I also really enjoy, you know, going bowling with my friends, or taking my dog for a walk and really playing with him and seeing my dog's joy is so contagious to me. Sometimes it helps to deliberately think and remind yourself. So um, you can maybe write that down, and while you're doing that, I'll mention that the reason why we're having you write things down today is the healthy choice needs to be the easy choice. And if you set yourself up for success and plan before things get too stressful, you can't really think very well with cortisol. I mentioned that it kind of makes frontal cortex malfunction. It makes memory malfunction. But what we can do is plan ahead and be like, oh yeah, there was that list. I remember the Ujjayi breath, or I remember, doing a little bit of yoga or a little bit of meditation on sounds, or, remembering to look outside. The healthy choice being the easy choice, and knowing that other people are doing these types of activities creates a culture, and it creates a sense of ease. And the story comes from the Blue Zones. If you've ever heard of it, it was a study of the culture, the countries in the world that people live the longest and the healthiest. And they overlap. Well, what do they have in common? They have a lot of community, faith-based. They are, have downtime where they can be with nature and be with, practices like these. This was a man, he immigrated to the US for a surgery, and then he had stage 4 cancer. And he's like, I want to go to my native Greece, and pass away there and be back with my family there. And he was like, oh, well, I might as well get that old, vineyard back into shape. And he started doing some purposeful work, got into his growth zone, got into his stretch zone, was doing some stuff, had a little drink with his friends and family in the evening, was relaxed, and he lived for several more decades. He somehow just being relaxed really helped his body and mind recover. So, being with family, being with friends, all those things, if you can write them down so that you remember when you're stressed. And if you relate it to the science, you can look on the NIH sites and find more of those studies. But maybe some of you have had some more ideas in the last part of the class that you would like to share. We love to have these discussions, and they help us know what works for people. So feel free to share.
Julie, thank you for the gratitude meditation today.
Oh, sure.
And that you shared Ujjayi, snack for you, gratitude, meditation, a snack for me. When things get in the panic zone, or I'm more reactive than responsive, or I miss you getting on my yoga mat, or the XYZ of things. Some days I just really have to rely on the gratitude that is mindfulness of, I notice I didn't have time, or I notice I reacted. And I will often do this a lot. Like, okay, thank you for that awareness and attention. And I catch back up with my breath. I reground, recenter, as you teach us all the time to do, Julie, to be like, okay, may I be well, may they be well. And And then we move on. And that's such a nourishing, rich snack to have in the day. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It brings a little closure to things too.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise it could still be churning in your head or in the middle of the night. And no,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thanks. Thanks for showing me where my limits of the stretch zone might be, life
Yeah.
experiences.
Yes. Yes.
And, thanks for giving me a little sunshine right now to cheer me up. It's really a
Yes.
nice mindset.
Oh, wonderful share. There's a comment about someone having a stressful email yesterday, and they did breathing and a 5-minute meditation, kind of ease out of the stress zone back into the comfort zone. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm. Mm.
I'll make another note about stress is that when that cortisol is released, it takes maybe about 15, 20 minutes to come down. So you might meditate for a few minutes if in a high stress state and be like, how come it's not down yet? It's the hormones were released and it takes time to, kind of flush them out. So you might
Mhm.
notice it just gradually.
Oh.
It's kind of like dilution in a way, right? If we need to start diluting a stress response, like it takes a little bit. If we were to like put a dropper of, mindfulness practices into something and start diluting it, right? To get that ratio back, it takes a little bit of time. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And thank you both so much. And it's like we said many times, it's practice.
Mhm.
We're practicing this and revisiting it anew each day practically, you know, and not to judge ourselves like, oh, I should be more relaxed because I do this a lot. I do mindfulness and I do meditate. And it's like, oh, we're all human,
Yeah.
you know.
We have
Yeah.
a few more comments on taking a 20-minute walk, outside during lunch is a really great idea. If you can get
Yes.
outside, even just for a minute or two,
Yeah.
Yes.
look out a window. It's so helpful.
Mhm.
Music, there's music
Yeah.
mentioned. Thank you. Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Music is a really powerful tool if available. Yeah, to play music, or if you can put some headphones on, even if you're in an environment that allows you to do that, if you could just put music on for just a little bit, a favorite song, or as mentioned, classical music. And, yeah.
I
Yeah.
get a lot of earworms. I can just listen to it at full volume.
Yeah.
Humor is good too.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Humor.
I made an observation this
Yeah.
past weekend. I work from home, so a lot of times I have something playing in the background. And somebody they had on a program said we hang on to the negative thoughts a lot longer than we do something that's positive. So it's weird how that just kind of clicks. And then as the weekend went on, how that's so true. And then being a practicing, trying to do these types of things where we're mindful of things. And I'm a Payo person. I do yoga. So it's funny how we have to pull ourselves back, but those tools are so helpful because when that happens to you, you remind yourself of that. Like,
Mhm.
what you're grateful for, or how much worse something could have been, or um, why am I hanging on to that? Nothing happened. So it's just nice to just implement this like back and have this
Yeah,
opportunity to remind us of this. Just be here with you guys and you practice and teach us more.
Thank you, Marcia.
So
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
a strong,
I'm not a
strong
great speaker, so I hope that all made sense. So-
Yes.
So
Really.
we have a worry class where we talk a little bit about the neuroscience.
Oh, well, great. I got to make sure I show up for that one.
But we are at one. If we could put that survey up, we know that some people have to go.
Mhm.
But we really appreciate all your comments, and um, it's been a very lively class. I feel so much better. I had to pick up my girl from school sick this morning, so
Wow.
uh, it just like took all the kind of stress of that, and now I can be more present with her after this class too. So
Yeah.
Wonderful.
the little girl that was in that video is 7 now, so
Oh,
And that's beautiful what you just shared a bit ago about the remembering, and that's what it's really about, right? Mindfulness is woven with remembrance, and just remembering the things, remembering the snacks, the tools, the remembering to take the time as you can, right? It's all about remembering, and remembering the somatic feeling, remembering the mental stress-free feeling. Like we create, Julie talks about this, that you know, that the new habits we can create, right? That neuroplasticity of things.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the emojis, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you for your kindness. We want to honor your time, so feel free to leave.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.